Good afternoon. Welcome to Chamber Live. My name is Miguel Lloyd. I'm your host today, Vice President of Marketing and Communication for the Atlanta Black Chambers, owner of Lloyd Media Group. And so, if this is your first time tuning into Chamber Live, what we do is we take content that we produced during the course of this month, all the great opportunities, and we do a little bit of a recap. And we bring in some amazing guests. And so today we have something we've been really focused on here recently, that we have quite a few people who have been very dedicated and serving in our organization for years. And so, but they focus so much on serving in the organization, we always like to bring them on in time to showcase not only their part in the work they do in the organization, but also their own businesses. And so we've got Sheena Robinson, who is a coach and entrepreneur, author, and all that. She also is our chair of our financial services committee. So we're going to talk a little bit about financial services today, but we're going to talk a little bit more about her business, because we want to give her an opportunity to showcase her business. But first of all, let me bring in my co-host. What's up, Raquel? How are you, sis? Uh-oh, you're muted. There
I
you
am
go.
I'm well. Everything is going amazing. So it is Financial Literacy Month, and that's why we have our two special guests waiting in the queue in the green room. So we're excited about Financial Literacy Month and learning about how to be more financially responsible.
Absolutely. What we find is that we talk a lot about our black businesses, and that one of the issues we run into is that we can't get funded. There's always the money is about money. Now, some of it is we know we can talk all about the systemic racism and all that stuff that we know that exists. But let's keep it real. A lot of times there's opportunities that we can get funding and our paperwork isn't right, taxes aren't done. There's so many different obstacles that are probably easier to overcome that we're not doing our part. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Sheena has been leading up our financial services committee for at least 3 years now. She can verify that when she comes up. But it's really important. There's a lot of great opportunities and events going on. But we want to talk about her book and all that good stuff too. But let's get into our recap. As for people, if you're tuning in, what we try to do is we want to give you a recap of things that have gone on in the chamber. And so we're going to let our sister Rock talk about what's going on. Don't forget that IKEA. I can't wait to hear you talk about IKEA. I'm so proud of you and the work you did with that.
All right, guys. So I'm Raquel Hill, your director of operations, and we can just let the Instagram feed scroll because last month we had 12 activities. These all happened in the month of March. Of course, we have our South Metro Business Network mixer at the beginning of the month. There was an insurance 101, four types of insurance you should know, followed by three simple sales strategies to get results and grow your revenue. Shout outs to Bethany out there in Facebook land. And on the 11th and the 14th, our veterans entrepreneur group came together. They had an in-person mixer followed by an empowerment workshop. March 17th, we did an amazing blowout. Had so many people tuning into this event. It was the State of Cannabis and Hemp 2022. If you missed that, you should go back to the top of our Facebook page and watch that video. Amazing content. How can we secure our place in the future of cannabis and hemp? On the 19th, we had our virtual open house where Melvin and myself take the stage and we tell everybody about the chamber. And then on March 22nd, we had the Atlanta Chamber's Black Business Initiative at IKEA. 10 Black owned businesses, entrepreneurs in the chamber were awarded $5,000 each to further their dreams. Some of them want to invest in their marketing. Some of them are going to invest in their infrastructure. But it was a great turnout, great event that was held at IKEA on location with 10 of the entrepreneurs. On March 23rd, the Arts and Entertainment had their first virtual film talks of the year. The movie was called The Missing, and it was about sex trafficking. That was a very dynamic conversation we had behind the scenes. On the 24th, we talked about laying the foundation and identifying where you are on your business journey. I'm going to skip and say March 25th, we had the impact of hidden indoor air pollution with our health and human services because I want to talk about a little bit, give some shine to the March 25th Women's League retreat, which was all kinds of amazing. We got together and we strengthened our sisterhood and we fortified our businesses. And when we left there, everybody was charged, ready to come back and really get in position for our business to take off for the next 3 quarters of the year. So again, March was amazing. If you want to stay tuned with how to learn more about these events, you can, of course, Follow us on all of our social medias. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. But also, if you go to Eventbrite and just click that follow, anytime the Atlanta Black Chambers has a new event, it's almost like you get a save the date. Before we put it on our social medias, it will be in our newsletter. So a good way to find out what we're doing is by following us on Eventbrite.
Girl, I can't keep up with you. So much going on. And I sit up there and I started this segment. I said, don't you forget about IKEA. So I'm going to big up IKEA. So I don't remember what the date was. I'm just coming off vacation, just drove to DC and back. Just got back yesterday, took the kids to the museums and all good stuff. But whatever the date was, it might have been early April. March what?
No, it's March 22nd.
March 22nd, IKEA, we were there, and the young lady, and I'm going to get the video and we'll get it up on our social media. The young lady went out of her way to talk about Raquel and how you did such an amazing job connecting the chamber to IKEA, a major corporation. And not only is this relationship going to benefit the Atlanta market, but it's also going to benefit Black entrepreneurs countrywide. And so we got to give Sister Girl, let's give her applause, doing that work, making that connection. If you missed the IKEA opportunity, IKEA is serious about connecting with Black entrepreneurs. They were very direct and said, hey, we don't want you guys, because here's the thing, a lot of our members are entrepreneurs who are single contributors, all of that good stuff. They said, no, we want businesses who have brick and mortar, and we did a great job of finding people that we can connect that can take advantage of this opportunity. We had the Jones couple out of here in South Metro who's got their business, and forgive me guys for forgetting names. Venue to go. There was a media company that was there. There were, oh my God, there was a web development company that was there. You guys did an amazing job. We just kind of helped as leadership to say, okay, that looks like a good one. That looks like a good one. You guys already knew who was going to deserve it, and we appreciate you the impact that we're doing. So there's the opportunity there. The other thing we did not mention, and I want to go back to your recap shot, because I want us to talk about the opportunity which has come about with these business services. So let's talk about
absolutely.
This.
Absolutely.
So talk about this a little bit.
So the Atlanta Black Chambers has partnered with Invest Atlanta to bring businesses that are registered in the city of Atlanta free business services. We're talking about you can get your whole small business completely together. Everything from branding to marketing to human resources to IT to operations, HR. So you can sign up with the Atlanta Black Chambers through atlandbusiness.com. Select the Atlanta Black Chambers and just kind of put in there every single thing that you think you need help with. And we're working together as a team. We're coming to you as a united front. And each of us who specialize in each of these different sectors, we will work with you one-on-one to give you what you need. Now, did I mention that it's free? These are free services. The only criteria is you must be located in the city of Atlanta, and your business has to be registered with the city of Atlanta. So this is really exciting news.
It's really exciting. This is an opportunity. You guys made this announcement alongside the mayor, Mayor Dickens, our new mayor here in Atlanta. You guys are amongst that group. And this is just a testament. And Damon with a question mark, free? Yes, it is free. Y'all don't think we see y'all in the chat. I see you in the chat. Yes, this is a free opportunity for some amazing practitioners in this space that will be offering these services. Just because you are a member of the Atlanta Black Chambers and you're also a business registered in the city of Atlanta. So if you're a registered business in the city of Atlanta, make sure you take advantage of this opportunity. So this is great. Kudos to leadership, building this relationship. There was something a couple of years ago, the Atlanta Black Chambers, we've been here for 17 years in the community. But I think that the strides that we've achieved in the last 3 to 4 years are definitely showing with this accomplishment. So great job. Make sure that's a great relationship with the Invest Atlanta folks. We want to make sure we take advantage of that. All right, before we bring in our guests, and I want to make sure we talk a little bit what we got going on the next couple of weeks. I don't want to miss anything. We get to talking so much and running so hard. I don't want to get to the end of the show anything really important that people need to know about.
I'm going to highlight a couple of things. So on April 13th, we're doing the Keys to Successful Project Management with Darren Bailey. Now, April 14th, I really want to highlight that. We're doing cybersecurity with Sean St. Hill. There's going to be someone from the FBI joining us. The only way you can participate in this is to register with the Zoom event and be behind the scenes while we're doing it live. This cannot be recorded, it will not be shared, but we will be actually doing a cybersecurity event coming out of our MCAT Brand Tech Day webinar series.
Mm-hmm,
A
mm-hmm.
couple of other things. Legislative forum for the lieutenant governor race happening on the 20th. We're going to do an in-person meetup on April 22nd. We're going to actually go to one of our brick and mortar businesses as the chamber at 11 o'clock on April 22nd and have breakfast and spend our money. We're going to put our money where our mouth is. And of course, Money Smart Business Summit, which is happening on April 29th. I can put these in the chat and give you links to how to connect with these, but those are the highlights of
Yeah.
some of the things that we're doing in April.
Yeah, please make sure you put those in the highlights in the chat and I'm sure we'll talk about that with Sheena here in just a moment. One last thing before we go to before we bring in our guests. When I was in DC this past just a couple days ago, for people who are from the DMV, you know about Ben's Chili Bowl. Ben's Chili Bowl is a very famous restaurant. If you go there, anybody go to DC, it's right off 14th and U Street. Majorly gentrified area. I grew up in that area before I moved into the Hampton, Virginia area, but that's like my second home. But you go there and there's pictures on the wall of Barack Obama and Jesse Jackson, everybody who's visited this place. So what's funny is I'm sitting there. There was a gentleman that was there and who was a consultant for Ben's Chili Bowl. They get ready to open up 3 locations of Ben's Chili Bowl in the Atlanta market. And so look for that coming very soon. But I immediately talked to him about becoming a member of the chamber. And I also talked about something in the initiative that we've been talking about for many years, which is we need to focus a bit more on our brick and mortar businesses like restaurants that we know there's a lot of black owned restaurants in the community. So I want you guys to do us a favor. Drop in the chat your favorite black owned restaurant and drop them in the chat, because we want to follow up with them and we want to start building relationships with black owned restaurants. That's a sector of our community that does very well. Black owned restaurants, hairdressers, barbers, we know they are brick and mortar establishments that do very well, and we want to bring more of them into our community. So please drop those in the chat. Restaurants, hairdressers, and barbers, drop them in the chat so we can reach out and start making connections, because we want them to feel like they're a part of the chamber as well, because they are a part of our community. All right. So if you've been first time tuning into Life Full Circle Radio, that's my other show, to Chamber Live. What we do is we bring in our interviews, and our first interview we're going to talk today is Sheena Robinson. As I mentioned, Sheena is our chair of our financial services committee. She does a great job. She's done that. She started that position, I think, when she first had her first baby, and I think she's on baby number 2. I think she may correct me. Is it 3? Is it? Hold on. Let me just not mess this up and just bring her on in here, because I'm just, man. Hold on. Is it babies 2 or 3, Sheena?
It's 3.
Is it?
It is. I think the third one snuck up on you.
Is it 3 in the world, or is it 1 on the way?
No, it's 3 in the world. I am done.
Oh, you're done. You're done. Well, everybody, this is Miss Sheena Robinson. She is our chair of our financial services committee, and an amazing mom, coach. And so, as I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about financial services, but we want to talk about your business, and the things that you're doing. So let's jump right into this thing. Tell us about your career, how you started off in entrepreneurship, and how you got to where we are today.
All right. I love to share with people. I'm originally from Arkansas. I'm born and raised. So small town girl. I always had a big dream, but didn't know what life was going to bring. And literally in 2007, after graduating from college, I moved to Atlanta. And just to give a little insight, growing up, I wasn't really told much about entrepreneurship and how to have my own business. It was really go to school, go to college, get a great job, and go work for someone. And it wasn't until I got to Atlanta, when I got here, I started working for corporate, and I thought I made it. And while I was at corporate, I got introduced to the financial industry, and I went and checked it out, learned a lot of great information that was great for me, and I felt like my community did not have the information. And so I wanted to be a part of the industry to be able to teach not only, my community, but be able to teach those people who don't have access to the information. And so I decided from there to get into the industry in 2008. And from there, I've just been stuck with the game. I thought I was supposed to be a news reporter. You know, you can tell God what you're going to be, and He'll tell you what He created you to be. And so that's pretty much how I stepped into the financial industry.
Yeah, I've never known that about you about being a news reporter. That was actually my path until I got on the side in the industry and learned about the sales department. I said, well, they're making more money over there than the people that's on TV. So I ended up staying over here. But what part of Arkansas are you from?
It's a small town called Arkadelphia.
Arkadelphia. Okay, so where is that in relation to Bentonville?
It is an hour south of Little Rock.
Got it. Our South of Little Rock. So you're on the east side. Okay, great, great, great. So you became leader. You became in leadership with the financial service committee. How long has it been? Has it been 3 years?
It's actually been more. I'm thinking it's four. I think I came on in 2018.
Okay, that's
So
pandemic
yeah,
year. No,
time
we
is
don't
flying.
count pandemic year. It's
Well, outside of pandemic, probably is, yeah, three.
yeah. Well, we do. We still were in service, but so let's talk. So you're in the financial service. You wrote a book that was focused on literacy for children, correct? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Correct. So, as I said, I joined the industry in 2008. And so I started with sharing financial literacy with adults. And I would always get adults saying, I wish someone taught me this when I was younger. And so, over the years, just hearing that, I really decided that I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see. And so, after having my daughter in 2013, my first daughter, Madison, I decided that I wanted to put together a book that would actually help parents have a system to follow to help them to raise financially successful children. And so the book, which I have it here with me, Financial Parenthood: The Keys to Raising a Rich Kid, the book started. And so, with that book, like I said, it takes families through the five different phases of financial development children go through and just help them with the type of information they need to be teaching, the type of accounts they need to be opening up. And so, it's just a wealth of information to give families an opportunity to start building this generational wealth and educating their kids so that they can have more control over their money.
So let's give us 3 points that maybe highlights in the book that we need to be teaching our kids, because I got a couple of them. They got the little cards, little bank accounts. They spend all of it on Robux and whatever the video games are sucking them dry with. But let's talk about that.
Well, I will start and give a little snippet into the first thing we talk about is our planning phase. And a lot of parents miss that phase because we think that we can't start planning for our children before they get here. And so the planning phase really starts when the baby is in the womb. You need to
Mm,
be looking at what type of accounts you want to open for these children. And you need to meet with a professional such as myself, and we can kind of map out at every age level what type of information you want to be teaching your children at that different age level that is applicable and they can understand. And so that's one of the first things is that you need to start those people who are pregnant right now. There's a lot of pandemic babies and people are still getting pregnant. We need to start now with that information and getting that planning stage done. In regards to the kids, I think that's great that your kid have the debit cards and all that great stuff. We do have a chapter in there when we talk about taking your kids to the bank and helping them to understand that banking terminology. What is a teller? What are the different accounts that you can open? And so that is definitely something that I encourage parents to do is take that trip to the bank with your children, help them establish that account. There are other types of investments, but of course, as a child, the experience will just help get them excited about money and have a
mm,
basic understanding about financial institutions. And then another thing that I talk about in the book is the 21st century rich kid formula, which this formula, if people would abide by the formula, a lot of people will become wealthy. And so, just a real quick snippet, I share it with people. That concept, it talks about money, it talks about having time. The younger you are, the more time you have. And then it does talk about getting into money making assets and helping your kids basically to become entrepreneurs so that they can have these businesses where they're accumulating cash flow right now. Yes, as a child, making their own money. And so, after
mm.
they get this money, we're talking about how does rate of return play in that? How does inflation play into that? And overall, the first step that I miss is that they have to be disciplined in this process in order for this rich kid formula to be successful.
That's amazing, and that's something that Damon Dorsey said. Teach them. That's right. We got to teach these. Got to teach them early. Because here's the thing: they're being taught very early about how to spend money. They're not being taught very early about how to keep money, and
Absolutely.
that's our job. Our job is to make sure we're putting them in place. If you guys have any questions for Sheena, please drop them in the chat. We'll try to get to them before we let her go. So there's been a lot of changes in the last couple of years financially in the world. I think we're in a little bit of a shifting of wealth right now, right? And so when you look at that, what are you telling your clients on how to manage what is going on right now? Because you have people who got money and they got stimulus money and they ran right through that thing like it was it was like it was a pot of greens. It was pretty crazy. Nobody should be broke right now, but there's a lot of folks that are still struggling. But what are you telling your clients now coming out the back end of this pandemic?
Well, I just want to first stress what you said about a lot of people spending the money. That goes back to why I created the nonprofit Financial Parent Academy, because the older we get, it becomes hard for a lot of people to actually pay themselves first. And so that's one of the concepts that we start really early trying to teach the children because we want it to
Hmm.
become a habit.
Right.
As an adult, you have to make that decision to make it an habit because they have so many other responsibilities, whether it be paying, their rent. A lot of businesses were not able to be profitable during the pandemic. And so, they had to make those decisions what was important for their family or their business. So to get started, when I sit down with my client, it's a overall bigger picture of where you're at. I
Hmm.
want to hear your goals, because when I hear your goals, then we look at where you're at, then we can put
Hmm.
together a plan to make sure that you're on a path to getting where you really want to be. And it really goes back to basics, Miguel. It goes back to needs versus wants when you start
Hmm.
looking at where the money is actually going. There's different accounts we discuss. A lot of business people do not have retirement accounts. They don't understand there are different vehicles. Maybe you don't have a traditional IRA. Maybe you don't have a 401k from a previous job. There are different methods out here that they could be using and utilizing still so that they can start building wealth for themselves. And so that's the conversation that we really have with business owners, is building that wealth for their family. And another thing, when it comes to their family as a whole, what type of policies do they have in place when it comes to leaving that financial that legacy behind for your families? Because we can work on the business all day, but we can't leave our family behind. And so we look at a bigger picture of it all, your goals, and not only just planning for your future, planning for your family, let's have some fun with it too. Because I'm one of those people, if there's a certain goal you're trying to reach, let's look at your overall situation. If you don't have a lot of money, then yeah, maybe we need to stop spending somewhere. Maybe we need to budget better. But if you have the money, like you said, there are some people who have money. And I've never got into, you got to just keep all the money and save it. You can
Right.
go spend a little bit as long as you have it. Just live within your means.
Yeah, that's all. Creating a budget, and as you said, you mentioned live within your means, and have a little fun. We're not saying this be a tightwad and have a whole bunch of money and jeans from 1975, but we got to have some balance. Let's see. I'm checking to see if we have any questions in the chat. It seems to me that don't let us, yeah, tell us your secret a little bit on this. You use this parenting book to kind of teach the parents a little bit, the kids book teach the parents a little bit, didn't
So yes, and what I realized too. So this is the thing, Miguel. This is what I
you? Yeah.
realized. I realized, unfortunately, kind of back to the question that you just asked me about spending and adults' habits. We, as an adults, what I realize is that we will invest in our children more than we invest in ourselves. And
Mm.
so knowing that, that's where I was like, okay, let's get in front of the children, because I do have a children's book as well. I don't
Hmm.
talk much about it, and that book is actually, I'm excited about it. But it's actually geared towards helping kids as early as 3 years old learn how to read and learn the
Hmm.
concept of pay yourself first. And so I'm very passionate about this. And so, one way, they say it's one way, well, it's two ways to skin a cat. I can get it through the parents teaching them, or we can
Hmm.
go to the kids and then we can let the parents know what we taught the kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. Where can they buy your book? Because people are in the chat and they're asking about where they can buy your book. Are you on Amazon or website? How do they reach you?
I am on Amazon, but just to make it one stop shop, you can go to my website at Financial Parent Academy, inc.com.
All right.
And we have both of the books are there. And as I said, the Light to Wealth book, the children's book, it is in different nationalities. And one of the reasons I did that is because, first off, especially for people, Black people, I wanted them to see themselves. Because
Mm-hmm.
as a little girl, you asked me, how did I get into entrepreneurship? Well, growing up, I saw, the hairstylist, the barber, but I grew up in a community where I didn't see a Black doctor. I didn't see a
Mm-hmm.
Black dentist. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I came to Atlanta, it was like, oh my God, I'm in the Black Mecca. And
Mm-hmm.
because I saw what I could be. And so that was another influence that helped me understand my power and how I can really use entrepreneurship to not only get wealth for myself, but create a legacy for my family.
No, that's something I tell you, man. There's two cities I really love outside of my home, and one is DC and one is Atlanta. But Atlanta, man, Atlanta really changes the game if you're here and you get into the right communities. The Atlanta Black Chambers, for one, where you're going to meet people that are doing amazing stuff in a lot of different business sectors, that are doing things that they say we're not supposed to be in the construction business, and we're not supposed to be successful lawyers and attorneys and surgeons and entrepreneurs, and you run into those every day in the city of Atlanta. So it's something I encourage people to get connected to us. Before we go, let's talk about. I did say we're going to talk primarily. We have, but let's talk a little bit about the Financial Services Committee and what you're doing with that Financial Services Committee. I know you guys have got the Money Smart that's coming up here towards the end of the month, but let's talk a little bit about what you're doing in that space.
Well, I love being the chair of the Financial Services Committee because I have a chance to meet a lot of great professionals doing a lot of great things, and so definitely it's a great opportunity. If I need any questions answers, I have access, right?
Mm-hmm.
So within the Financial Services Committee, we are very focused on helping with financial literacy, whether it be with the business owner or whether it be in the community. And so there are four core events that we have every year. We have our tax professional event in January, which was a very successful event this past January. And then we have coming up April 29th, we're super excited about the Money Smart event that we have every year that's for business owners, where we really go in depth on different topics to really educate the entrepreneur to help them be successful in their business. And so this year, the Money Smart Summit, our title or our theme per se is revive, restore, and re-educate, because we know a lot of businesses are recovering from the pandemic, and so maybe you're a little dusty. So we need to get back financially educated to see what track we need to get
Did you just
on.
say
And so that
Dusty? Did you say Dusty?
so we're gonna provide those tools. We're excited. We have Mary Parker who's going to set it off and start it off with our as being our keynote, and then we have four breakouts that we're going to have, and then it's just going to be a great opportunity to network. Our
Mm-hmm.
sponsor is Chase, and so we have a great partnership with them. I know Shea's coming up next, and so we're very grateful to have them as a partner with us, and so they'll be having a workshop and being able to share more about what they do. And so that's the Money Smart Summit in April. And
Mm-hmm.
then we normally have a financial services professional networking event. And we normally have that like around July, September-ish, where we just give people an opportunity to come out and experience the chamber. That's one of our events where we really want to expose the chamber, share about what we're doing at the chamber, and allow other financial professionals to be able to come out and be a member of the chamber. And then in November, another super exciting event, which is more so catered to the community, is our Family Financial Empowerment Summit, which we're excited about that. And that's just an opportunity for our experts, our Financial Services Committee, to be able to give out information on those key topics that are important to families and be able to help them see that there are professionals in the community that can serve them.
Raquel, you got anything to say?
No, nothing. This was amazing. So I think your dream did come true. You are on television. You do get the broadcast. You're getting some amazing shout outs in the chat over here. Like, you're a great guest to have on there. I just want to give you big ups. Like, your journalism dream did come true right here. And again, thank you so much. Just always full of knowledge, and looking at it as a parent and from the eyes of the children. It's always worth, wherever you are. Like if I know you're speaking on someplace else, I'm plugging into that Zoom because I love supporting my sisters in the Atlanta Black Chambers. Great job,
Absolutely.
Sheena.
And so look in the chat, guys, financialparenthood.com. Raquel did put that link in the chat, so you can go ahead and purchase those books or find out where Sheena will be speaking outside of the chamber, because that's part of what she does. She's a speaker. She does this stuff for real, guys. And so make sure you see, anytime you see her name, wherever she is, make sure you are supporting her. So Sheena, go hang out with us. We're going to get Shea on here in just a minute, and we want to bring you guys in at the end because we want to make sure we do a little bit of a period all together. You going to be able to hang with us for a little while?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just want to say, you and Raquel is rocking Chamber Live. Keep it up. And I am very blessed to be a part of Atlanta Black Chambers because I am surrounded with the big dogs, people who are really walking in purpose. So continue to do great work.
Thank you, sis. We appreciate you. We walking this walk together.
Yeah, we all in this together.
We all in this thing together. All right, Rock. So great guest. We continue to. Sheena's amazing. It's like she's a little silent assassin because she don't really say much, right? In all the meetings we hear all the time, and we know she over there knocking it out the park. And so we're gonna continue to showcase our leaders and the work that they are doing. We want to make sure we keep them engaged and give them an opportunity, because that's one thing. We are people of service. And sometimes we get lost in that service, right? We get lost in just putting our heads down and working. And sometimes we got to realize that nobody's getting a salary for what we do with the chamber. We are doing it because we love the Black entrepreneur community. And so when there's an opportunity to support the business owners in our community, we want to make sure we shine. All right. So as we mentioned, if you're just tuning in, if you missed any part of this, you can go back, and from the beginning, we've been talking a little bit about the work we did with IKEA, all the amazing work we did earlier part of the month of March and rolling into April. We talked about the financial Money Smart is coming up at the end of the month. But if you missed any of that, you can go back, or you can go to our website, atlantablackchambers.org. You can follow us on LinkedIn. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on YouTube. YouTube is where you can get all of this great content and look at it again. We want to make sure we need your help. If you are on following us right now, go to YouTube. You may be looking at the replay on YouTube right now, but if not, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we want to get we need to get up to over 100 subscribers, so that we can get our unique URL. That is a requirement for YouTube, and so we want to make sure we get that. So go to YouTube, search YouTube, Atlanta Black Chambers, and then you can follow us there, subscribe to us. So let's bring in our next guest. As we mentioned, our second guest is a brother by the name of Shea Taylor. He works for Chase. He's been hanging out with us in my pandemic years, man. I'm telling you, I get lost with the pandemic year, because I think Shea has been a member of the organization for about 3 years. I think he's been around that long. But let's bring in our guest, Shea Taylor. Good afternoon, good brother. How you feeling?
Yes.
Can you hear us? You can't hear us?
I can't hear you guys.
You can't hear us?
No.
That's interesting.
Sound just went out.
Sound just went out. Okay, we can hear you fine, though. Do you have check your microphone? You may check your microphone if you have a USB mic and it has a headphone jack. He can't hear nothing I'm saying right now, so I'm just talking.
Right.
All right, we will go back. We'll get him in here in just a second.
So just real quick before we bring Shea on, you guys, you saw the passion that Sheena has in talking about the Financial Services Committee. So when you join the Atlanta Black Chamber, you don't just have to roam around in rooms and try to figure out what it is that you want to do. We have a committee for every industry that's out there. We have about 10 or 11 committees. So Sheena is the chair of financial services. You name the industry, we have a committee, or that committee is in development. And it allows subject matter experts, to come together and talk about like-minded subjects. All right, that's a little chamber commercial.
It's all good. All right. Let me bring our guests back in here. Let me see. Let me change that. Because you're coming in on your phone, Shea?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So adjust your camera, because you're kind of off there a little bit. Do the vertical thing with your camera. Let's see if that makes it a little bit.
We'll do the vertical one. Okay.
Yeah,
good. I'm actually gonna put my Bluetooth on.
You know what?
So
this is what we're gonna do.
Me.
I want you to. Hold Hold on a second.
Okay.
I
And
want to get your audio. Oh, okay. Stay there, right where you are, right there, and just talk with your phone. I think we'll be okay to do that. All right. Can you hear us?
I can hear you all.
Perfect. Technology, man. Technology. We will figure it out, bro. We will figure it out.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, Shea Taylor with Chase Bank, man. Good afternoon to you, brother. And so, hold on. We just switched off something. He went away from us again. Where'd he go?
I can hear you guys.
Your picture went away though. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but
We can hear you.
Let's see where your picture went though. Let's see.
You know, I normally just unplug it, come back, and plug it back in, but I don't think that'll work. Okay. Can y'all see me?
We see you now. Okay.
Which way you want me to turn sideways?
Right there. There you go.
This is work right here. Okay.
That'll work. There we go. Tech. It's all about this tech. Matter of fact, we're gonna go vertical with this thing because it's gonna be a better experience for us all if we do that. We're on the fly, guys. We're doing this stuff on the fly.
It's Chamber Live, Live. It
is absolutely live. You better believe that. And let me see. Take that one out, and we're going boom, publish. There we go. Right. That's a better shot right there.
There we go.
All right. So welcome, my brother. Welcome to Chamber Live. And so we wanted to bring you in as you have been, you've been a part of the Chamber. It's been at least 2 years. I know we met before the pandemic. I'm almost certain.
Yes.
Yeah,
we sure did. We met, it's been like 4 years I've been with the Chamber, and I'm so happy that connection has spawned into a corporate connection with our Advancing Black Pathway. So you all always welcome me with open arms. So I'm just happy to see this relationship continue to flourish.
Talk to us about the importance of Black entrepreneurship to Chase, because it's really important. You know, when we talk about access to capital, which is a huge issue in the Black community, to see Black businesses, first of all, to see Chase inviting a brother who's got his hair natural, who got Malcolm X over his shoulder, is like, okay, we're in a different world a little bit. I think we're showing up in spaces and being respected. But let's talk to us about Chase and what they believe about serving and helping Black businesses be stronger.
Yeah, I guess before I talk about that, we got to talk about the culture of the company. You know, I came to the company after seeing Jamie Dimon speak, and you all know, I've known me for a while. I didn't always have my hair like this. I actually decided to grow it out because someone said they thought I looked cute with it. So there's no really cultural thing. That was just it. That was it. But it's had good ramifications. But the reason people ask me that all the time, and the culture of Chase is, if you produce, you move forward. It's a merit. We try to be a meritocracy as close as one can be dealing with a corporation. And so the reason why I show up like this or do whatever, it's just because I produce. And you all knew me as a banker. I was pretty successful. And so as the producers who are of different cultures in this state, African Americans or Afro diaspora, as we move up, you get power and influence. And we are here because of Tashonda Duckett, who, she ended up being the third Black woman CEO last year of TIAA, but she left Chase, but she created Advancing Black Pathways, which incorporated Atlanta in and incorporated other things. And now we have I'm not even a banker anymore. I'm a business coach. And so the reason why it's important, to get to your question, is because we realize externally, just like internally, when all the cultures in our community are thriving, we thrive as a bank. And that's from employees, and that's the customers. We treat our employees well, and if we treat our employees well, they're going to go out there and they're going to be net promoters for the bank. And we've all seen people that work for different institutions, whether that's banking or whatever, and they hate their job. They'll never talk about this, that, and the third. I mean, I recruit for Chase. I don't even have to, because I just think that's great. That's the great culture of the firm. And so we are looking at focusing on Black-owned businesses for a couple of reasons. It's the right thing to do. It's the appropriate thing to do. It's good business. And we also feel that although there are many different stories and many different shortcomings and many different cultures in America, Jamie Dimon has been firm about African Americans being a focal point because of the history, and not approaching in a way of a handout, but approach it in a way of, we already know, like you said, we got people already busting it in Atlanta. We've been playing with one hand behind our back and have been putting up points and putting up wins. And we want to make sure that we continue that story with Chase in helping Black entrepreneurs move forward, realize their dreams, and grow their companies, access to capital so they can go up the economic chain.
So you talked about now that you're no longer a banker, you're a business coach. What does that encompass?
Yeah, so my technical title is senior business consultant. In the community, I just say business coach. So what I do is I work with early stage entrepreneurs. My old job, I've been in finance for 15 years. My old job, at Chase, I was a relationship manager, and I worked with companies up to 100 million in revenue. In my time there, I probably lent a little bit over 10 million to the business community here in Atlanta. And so now coming over to this role, I get to take all those skill sets from those last roles and work strictly with Black owners who are at the early stages of business, because I know, just due to the hand-to-hand combat that we had to do as a producer for the last couple of years, what it takes for a business to navigate through the bank and get access to capital. I'll give you a great example. We just had a win. I met a young lady. Her first year in business did a good amount of money, and she did not think that she could get access to capital because of what she has experienced. She was trying to do something like build business credit and all this other stuff. And I sat down and told her, I said, well, there's only three things that we look at. We're going to look at the profit on the tax return. We're going to look at your personal credit. We're going to look at business collateral, and that can be mitigated. And she went from, in 30 days, not thinking she could have access. I mean, she cried on our first meeting. And she went from that to, we closed a $150,000 line of credit for her, and she's on pace this year to do a little bit over 1.5 million. So those are the stories that I want to duplicate with our owners, and that's what we look to do.
Hey man, I love using my applause button. I hear about some Black businesses doing seven figures and with the help of a banking relationship, and that's something that I think a lot of us don't understand, and I think there's an intimidation factor. Just like you just said, this young lady was doing well already, and she just assumed, you guys are going to do business with me. I'm just going to sit out here and I'm going to bootstrap this thing. I've seen some stats here recently where we talk about the greatness of our community, but then we look at the fact that I want to say it's somewhere plus of 80% of our businesses are bootstrapping. 95% of our Black businesses have no employees. And so, which means that they're either not making enough money to employ anybody else, or they don't feel like they're solvent enough to bring other people on to grow their businesses. And so when you talk about being a business coach, I come into your business and you look at that situation, you say your stats look good, your numbers look good, and you say, well, why have you never banked before? Why don't you have a banking relationship? Kind of talk to us about an example of how you manage those type of conversations.
Yeah, the access to capital module is just one module. I always leave with that module because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that's not the thing, That's the thing that we have to focus on. But we also look at operations, business development, acquiring good trusted advisors, which is so key. CPA is so key when it comes to lending. And so when I'm sitting with owners and I'm looking at them, I like to take the emotion out of everything. We do something called a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Sounds kind of corny, but what it starts to do for the owner is it gets them mentally outside of working in the business and looking from a working on the business perspective. And then what we do is we identify the gaps and we just start to plug them. I mean, I can give you so many examples. I'll give you an example where owner said, hey man, I'm losing about 20, 30,000 a year off change orders because I got a small business. I'm a solopreneur. I got a couple 1099 employees, but I don't even have anybody to really watch the change orders. And I had another mentee who's a fractional COO. And so I said, hey, can I make a connection? I made a connection. He hired that person on. And she's now part of the team.
What's a fractional COO? Let's not. We're not gonna let you just slide that by.
My bad. So fractional COO is a chief operator. So you think about the C-suite, and you have some people that offer services that like CFO services or COO services. We say fractional because they fracture their services between many different companies. So they don't work in-house at a company. Their only job is to do that type of
they're a
C-suite service.
contractor. They in a lot of cases they're
Contractor, lack
contractors.
of better, yeah, not
Okay,
contractor, yeah.
got it.
And so this young lady was thank you for saying that. This young lady was certified to the highest levels of project management, and not only has come in, but having her there helped him win one of probably his biggest jobs so far in his 10 years of existence. He's also good access to capital story. But to answer your question, I want to answer with that story. We're just really looking in to identify the gaps. I don't show up with a business owner saying, I know it all.
Yeah.
We don't know it all. We have to take time to listen. We have to parse through the psychology of money that sometimes our culture has had to deal with and address that. Sometimes I'm more therapist than banker. Sometimes that takes me 2 or 3 sessions to get to the banking side. Okay. Because we have to, people may not have felt that they were worthy. And we got to remove those mental blocks. I think it was something that we talked about when I was at we were at the event with the artists last August or so much. Those mental blocks.
The Biz Savvy Artist Academy.
Biz Savvy Artist Academy. We help remove those mental blocks. So when I'm sitting with the owner, we are talking technical stuff. But what I have experienced, and I've graduated probably about 30 businesses so far since doing this role, have about 80 businesses that I kind of work with. Definitely always getting more. But the key thing I have seen, just from my personal experience, once we remove the mental block, the game is on for the business owner. Yeah. And like you said, being that consultator, and I go from coach to consult, because really they got a lot of us already have all the metrics to win.
So I want to bring Sheena in this conversation as well. But before we do that, what programs are out there that opportunities right now for business owners to connect with Chase? And it may not, you may be overwhelmed yourself at this point. You may have too many clients, but what programs are out there that we maybe have some opportunities to connect with you guys?
Yeah, we have a full nationwide team. I'm one of 2 here in Atlanta. So, and we have a lot of tools and support that are able to help. So one of the things, and we can make sure we get out, is going to our minority business page and signing up to just have a one-on-one consult. And then from there, we can look and structure something. Sometimes those conversations, depending on what stage the business owner is at, sometimes we're bringing in other community resources, helping them get started, especially if they're at that still early ideation stage. But sometimes if they're already in the game, they're making some revenue, we take another route. But that's one thing that I would definitely advise. And if you guys don't have the link, I can definitely send it to you right quick, and you can maybe throw it in the chat. But that's what I would tell anybody on the call. Connect with us here. We are touchable. And no, I'm not overwhelmed. I'm single with no kids. So until that changes, y'all need to hit me up.
Well, we better get to them now, because we know once that wife and kids come, it's going to change the game. Let's bring in our sis, Sheena. We want to bring her in to help us close out our show today. Great show today. You guys have been amazing. Can I use my applause thing again? You guys have been amazing today, as you're bringing some amazing contact information. You really, I think that our audience has really engaged. While we're wrapping up today, I want to let the folks who are in the chat drop in, and this is our Facebook chat. Drop in here as we do every show, a link to your business. We want to be able to see who you are, what you're doing. You're not just here an audience; you're a part of what we're doing here. So make sure you drop it in the chat so we know who you are and how we can support your businesses. So, and I believe you said that Chase is going to be a part of the event at the end of the month, the Money Smart. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yes. I didn't say that, but thank you for bringing that on in. Yeah, thank you for that reminder. Yes, we are going to be a part of that at the end of the month.
Man, that's good. That's good. Go ahead, Sheena.
They're going to be, actually, they're one of our breakout sessions. They're going to be talking about access to capital. So that was very appropriate, Shea, sharing about how you've been successful with helping business owners. And so definitely want to get registered if they have not registered. We will have 3 other breakout rooms, and you will have an opportunity to go to at least 3 workshops. And so this is definitely one that you want to go to, access the capital with Chase Bank.
Thank you, Sheena. And we're looking forward to that. I think my supervisor, my boss, will be coming down. I think Jay Bailey at the Russell Center said it best. I want to make sure I quote him, because I'm taking this from here. Is we definitely put the relationship back in business banking, or the relationship back in banking, and make it fun. This is there's a lot of stuff that we're dealing with, but a lot of owners, man, when I sit down. A lot of times it's just a line item. If we move a line item from here to here, the game is a lot different. And just approaching those gap points So I'm looking forward to show up and show out, as we used to say back in the day, and have some fun, shake some hands, and get people moving, getting their businesses moving to the next stage. Because I do agree, Atlanta's a special place, and I think we can set the tone about how cities need to make sure we're building inclusivity.
I think that this is a testament to the importance of brothers like yourself and folks who are working in the corporate space, and the importance of who you are to our entrepreneurial community, because we need folks that are on the front line in the corporate space that are because if not, you know, there's a lot of, like you say, access to capital and knowledge bases and things that you're seeing that general market white businesses, Hispanic business, Asian businesses may be doing that our black businesses are not doing and not taking advantage of, right? And so to have people like yourself and relationships like Fiserv and relationships like furniture places, IKEA, these relationships are super important. We had great relationships with BB&T and SunTrust before they merged into one, and still have solid relationships there. You know, talk to us about Shea. This question for you, and Sheena, I want you to respond as well as an entrepreneur. How important is that internally? Because a lot of people say, "Oh man, them big corporations don't care about us, man." You know, we know that that's different, especially with a company ran by somebody like Jamie Dimon. But let's talk a little bit about that, and Sheena, I would love to get your response as well.
And to clarify the question, how is it internally at Chase or internally inside of me?
Hey, brother, start with Chase and finish with yourself, because you
Got you.
obviously are there for a reason, and you could work anywhere, but you choose to work for Chase for a reason.
Got you. So why is this? And just restate that first part, because I'm gonna make sure I answer your question.
Sure. So talk about the importance of black entrepreneurship and the success of black
Got you.
entrepreneurship to Chase Bank.
Yeah, it's a part of the community, but I also think that Chase realizes that listen, it's an inconvenient truth about the process of the African American story here in America, and I think that when you have leaders that are looking to make a change, you know, it's easy to try to do it at the top, but it's not easy. It starts at the top, but the challenge comes with on the ground. And again, having that culture of that meritocracy has allowed people like myself to be in a space like this. So internally, we already had a lot of the gears here at Chase. And then when brothers like myself, and I have brothers and sisters, black, not black, different cultures pour into me. Me be the banker that I am today. I'm a reflection of them. I didn't just wake up like this. That goes from training, and it's the thought process of keeping the customer first. And if we're keeping the customer first, we are going anti our own thing if we're not paying attention to black-owned businesses. And so it's important for us because it's important for our communities. Jamie Dimon said this a couple of years ago. If the community is downtrodden and can't do anything, and they can't buy mortgages, they can't buy homes, they can't get auto loans, they can't get credit, they're not comfortable with banking. What does that do for us as a business? This is a business. I think the greatest thing is this: DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. The concept of that, we're still getting used to that. It's still a corporate game. The DEI aspect is just a new piece on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And companies are trying to figure out how do you utilize that piece, because we're in a capitalistic society. It's just that is the structure of the game that we're playing.
Absolutely.
And so how do, in a capitalistic society, do we incorporate DEI to make sure everybody has the opportunity to grow to the top? And so that's what goes on internally. And because we try to set our best to go to those principles, it doesn't even become a question about what we need to do for the black community, because we're going against our own principles if we don't lean into. And for me, internally, myself, man, my father, I'll just say this: my father was principal at Paul D. West Middle School, and when they built the new middle school back when I was maybe 5th grade, 6th grade, I remember being at the kitchen, cleaning the kitchen. He's at the kitchen table demanding that the vendors be black. And they're one of my first customers. Their first contract was with Paul D. West Middle School, and they knew my father. The reason they knew he was my father because I looked like him. They said, "He Doc's son." I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. And so for me, I think that story right there sums it up for me internally. It's just part of how I was raised, and the concept. You mentioned Malcolm X. The concept of knowing when you're wrong and being able to admit it, knowing when to pivot, but also understanding group economics is one of the things that we're going to have to participate in. I'm so happy to hear y'all. I want the list of the Black restaurants. So, just FYI, because I want to participate in that as well. So that's what it does for me in turn. I hope that story kind of helps answer your question.
Absolutely. Sheena?
Yeah, that was good.
Just real quick, I think, being a part of Atlanta Black Chambers and having these relationships with organizations like Chase and some of our other partners, as an entrepreneur, it's really important because a lot of times we'll look at, maybe Chase and you don't have that inside person. And so having access and being a member of the Atlanta Black Chambers and being able to build those relationships with those key people that are a part of the organization, it gives you insight into different, loan opportunities or different grant opportunities that these different companies are willing to give us. And so it's definitely been a great ride, just having corporate partners with the Atlanta Black Chambers, and definitely as an entrepreneur, it makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Real quick, Shea, before we let you go, give us 3 things that business owners need to be coming to the bank with in their hand, prepared before they start asking for money.
Good. That's good.
That's real good. I think they need to understand. Here's 3 things they need to understand. Maybe not bring to the bank, but understand this. You need to have good quality financials. So that means they need to have a quality CPA, and get a CPA, not brother, mother, sister, cousin, not the person at the barbershop, right? We having a family talk, so we know that goes on. It's family talk.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay. My barber tried to sell me a mortgage when I first got out of school. I said, I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I don't think, no. Before the mortgage crash, of course, but we got to talk about it. So a quality relationship with a CPA, and Atlanta Black Chambers is a place I would tell people to go look for that, because serious minded CPAs are associated with the chamber. So that's part one. An understanding of where you're at credit wise, and an understanding the credit score. If the credit score is even if the credit score is low, still come have a conversation.
What do you consider low? What's that number? What's that magic number?
I would say it's a credit profile thing. So it's not a number, because it's more so a credit profile. So if you've had some derogatory, some charge off, things of that nature, that's going to impact the profile, because you can have a 700 credit score and be fresh out of bankruptcy, and you still that's still going to impact you in a negative way in that process. But if you're feeling shaky about the credit, be honest about it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to sit down, and I'm here to connect you and get that. And then last but not least, so we got the CPA, understanding the credit, and then I think last but not least, just the understanding of your business and your industry, and being able to articulate that to a lender. That really helps. And so having those 3 kind of understanding, I would say are the beginning points of the conversation. Understand this, and that's why I used to train bankers about this. Whether it's a no, yes, or maybe, regardless, that's the beginning point of the conversation relationship. I can't tell you how many times, I took an owner out last night, and his brother, he listens to everything I say, and I asked him, like, you never push back on anything. And he's like, well, you helped my brother out. And his brother couldn't even get a credit card a couple of years ago. Now he has over $1 million worth of lending with Chase, and is with our top with some of our top bankers. So, and it started from 2 turn downs. So being able to understand that whether you get a yes, no, or maybe, don't take your ball and go home. Lean in so we can figure out how do we go from a no to a yes, or not right now to a yes, and how do we bring in other community partners to help fill in that gap point while we're getting bank ready.
Oh my God!
So real quick.
Yeah.
Can you tell me that 3rd point again?
Yeah, the 3rd point is just really being open to whatever the response will be.
Yeah.
Being open and ability to lean in, and keep those relationships.
Man, I don't want to cut this off, but we're about to run over. This has been a great engagement. Man, make sure you guys, and let me drop in real quick. Let's real quick, because we know the Money Smart is coming up. I think I saw it somewhere in here. Where is it? I think there's let me add that to the broadcast. There's a link right there. Which you can't see all of that, but it's in the chat. So y'all make sure y'all go and get that link.
So one thing I want to say, I know that we're running over, and Money Smart, make sure you're there. It's going to be in person at the Russell Center, correct?
Yes, it's going to
One of
be
the
in person. Our first event actually back in person, and so we super excited. And so you don't want to miss it. We're going to have
Yeah.
some great things going on at the Money Smart event.
Make sure you
so the
guys
key
go
word
back. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm
my
the broadcast in me. We're over, and I want to
that's
make
what
sure.
I'm trying.
Go ahead.
That's
Go
what I'm
ahead,
trying
Rock.
to
Go ahead,
say.
Rock.
No.
Go ahead, Rock.
I just want to say my key takeaway from this particular
Yeah.
section is relationships.
Yeah.
We have a relationship with Chase. Chase has a relationship with the Russell Center. We have a relationship with the Russell Center, and it's just all kind of shows how the Atlanta Black Chamber maneuvers in the city of Atlanta. It's all about
Absolutely.
building relationships. That's
Absolutely.
all.
Absolutely. No, that's important. So here's a link for the Impact Advancing Back Pathways with Chase. We want to give a shout out to a few of our folks who are in the chat, and they dropped their business as they were told. So we gonna bring them into the show. Miss Evie Lieberman Fleming with tree-evolutions.com. David Smith, Elevate Designs. That's an 8 in the middle of that. All this stuff is in the chat, so you can go back and you can grab it. Who else did I miss? Let me see. Who did I miss? And don't try to run here the last minute. Drop y'all stuff in here. Try to get in it. We got to get. Of course, we gonna bring in. This is the financialparenthood.com. Make sure you pick up Sheena's book at that link. And those three, let me drop those in there as well. CPA, understanding of credit, and being open to the response. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been an amazing show. Sorry we ran a little bit over. I know you probably on your lunch break, eating your little Subway or something, but we appreciate if y'all hung out to the end. Sheena, thank you. We appreciate you, sis. Shea, thank you so much, man, for all your insight. Rock, always, thank you for being the rock and being the glue to whatever we're doing. Miguel Lloyd, host of Chamber Live. We'll see you all next month or around and about in any of our events going on this month. We'll talk to y'all soon.